The Sparky Life.
Create the sparks in your life.
The Sparky Life.
Before we begin, a quick word from our sponsor, SupplyHouse. Before you make that first connection on your next electrical job, connect with SupplyHouse.com. They have got a huge inventory with the top brands in stock and real customer service from real people. That's right, you call in and you speak to a human being. Pretty awesome. Highly recommend you check out SupplyHouse.com today. Now let's start our show. Welcome back. If you're new to Sparky Life, we discuss opportunities in the skilled trades and construction careers. So I don't know how many of you might remember Obama's speech back in 2016 stating that higher education is the single best investment for the American people. Obama believed that education was the cornerstone in building the American economy. Now, in 2024, the student loan debt is up to $1.6 trillion, and young adults can't afford to purchase homes. Inflation is out of control, and our economy isn't looking too hot, with the average annual salary at $60,000. Is higher education truly benefiting the American people? In fact, who benefits when you have high school students at the age of 16, 17, 18 going off to college? Is it the students? I think that you're going to be shocked to discover, as I was totally dumbfounded, that the students don't seem to be benefiting. And the people who are actually benefiting, or the institutions, are the colleges and the universities. So I'm sure you've heard the saying before, everybody dies and will pay taxes, right? Well, private and public universities don't pay taxes in the United States. Not on tuition, capital gain, sponsorship, and nothing. In fact, Harvard has $3.1 billion. Harvard's doing pretty good. Okay, so let's back it up. If the average student who doesn't receive a scholarship and has to pay for college with student loans graduates with approximately $40,000 worth of school loan debt, and the average student, when they graduate, enter the workforce with a salary of $50,000 to $60,000 annually, can I speak annually? If out the gate you have $40,000 worth of debt that, of course, only accumulates over time, and you're only making $50,000 to $60,000 annually, how long will it take you to get rid of that debt? How well do you think you'll be able to grow your income? The average student pays off their student loan debt in 10 to 20, some 30 years. That's a decade or 2 decades. How many of them along the line do you think are able to invest and grow the income that they're making? Okay, it looks like a lot of students are at a disadvantage, right? But surely the colleges with all these tax exemptions and a boatload of money, a lot of advantages, they would give back to the students, right? Nope. Nope, not at all. In fact, the colleges put all of this money into what's called an endowment. I had to look up what an endowment was. I didn't know. An endowment fund is a pool of assets that generates income. And recently, I went on a date with this data scientist who was very pro-university. And he really put this beautifully. He basically said you can think of an endowment essentially as a GoFundMe. Okay. Now, when I was having this discussion with the date, coffee date, this guy is clearly well-educated, very smart, brilliant even. And he was thinking that, people are too hard on the universities and colleges. Obviously, that he would not be able to do his career without the degrees, without going to college. And he obviously had some great mentors that he looked up to. He felt that it was the government and the state that really put universities in a predicament, because in the 1990s, a lot of the state universities were forced to show that every year they were able to attract more students in order to get funding and support from the government. And that basically created a situation where the universities were putting all of their energy and efforts into marketing and bringing in as many students as possible, and not necessarily focusing on academic achievement or careers for the students that were investing in the university. So he brought up a very interesting side of things, more of an opposite perspective. And in his opinion, university brings a lot of value. He talked about some of his friends going to Harvard on, full ride scholarships. And they came from, let's say, the wrong zip code, and was able to get access to, these Ivy League universities. But how many of us get that opportunity if we were born in, let's say, a lower income or even middle class area or location throughout the United States? How many of us are getting scholarships? What is the percentage of people that are getting real assistance to go to college, meaning not having to use a student loan, and the amount of people that have to take out student loans in order to go to college, which they're basically told that if you're not going to university, you're not going to get a good career. And clearly your intellect isn't above par if you aren't going to a university or institution. Well, I got to tell you that when universities are marketing to students, there's a lot of false promises that are made. And in my opinion, that's blatant fraud. The definition of fraud is when wrongful deception is intended to result in financial gain. My experience when I went to college was pretty much exactly that. I was given like sunshines and rainbows descriptions of what would be available to me and what my possibilities were going to be if I graduated at that university with a degree. And I was not told or explained about loans or Sally Mae and what that would entail, how over time, if I was just paying the minimum, my debt was never going to go away. None of this was explained. Let's take a quick break to hear from our incredible sponsor, SupplyHouse. Finding parts shouldn't feel like catching lightning in a bottle. Get the parts that you need delivered straight to your door with SupplyHouse.com. They have a massive inventory of electrical products and nationwide shipping. All the top brands are there, and they handpick their selection with electricians and contractors in mind. Us Sparkies do appreciate. So whether you are doing a residential service change or a commercial update, they've got you covered. They also have friendly customer service from real people, so you can build, repair, and upgrade with confidence. It's online convenience with a brick and mortar personality. What is not to love? And see how much time you can save on your next job at SupplyHouse.com. Now let's get back to the show. And we certainly don't go over it in high school. Some of us are lucky enough to have a strong financial education, but I would venture to say, the majority of us definitely don't have access to that information. So here you are having a 16, 17, 18-year-old making these huge financial decisions. And then there's corporation, this university, college, business, imposing upon them, marketing to them, selling to them all of these wonderful potential benefits that they're going to gain. So what available career options are there for you if college really isn't beneficial? like my date, right? He wanted to be a data scientist, and that's what he fell in love with. If he wanted to do that career, he had to go to college, right? So there are certain career paths that if that's what you want to do, you're going to have to go to college. If you don't know what you want to do, and I certainly didn't have a clue when I was 16 or 17, I thought I wanted to be a psychiatrist. I thought I wanted to get my doctorate, but I didn't really have a clue of what that entailed or what that would look like or what psychiatrists actually did. I didn't know psychiatrists. I only knew what I saw on TV. Nobody in my family was a psychiatrist, and I was attracted to the status symbol that came with becoming a psychiatrist. I would say that if you're 16, 17, 18 in 2024 and you don't know what you want to do, or maybe you think you know what you want to do, your best bet would be to shadow the career that you want to do. Get in touch with someone who actually does the career. Go to work with them for a day, right? And see what it is you're going to be doing. And I mentioned a day, but the truth of the matter, the reality is if you want to make an informed decision, you really should be going for like a month at least. And you should talk to many different people in that career to get a full scope of what it is you're going to be doing. So we've got shadowing, right? And we've got colleges for certain degrees that you just basically, you can't do that career if you don't have that degree. So what do you think the secret is? How do you find what's going to be the right fit for you? Being that the current status in the United States is this huge skilled trade labor gap. Simple economics, if you have a less of something, it's more valuable. So in 2024, if you were to get into a skilled trade, no other career at this time is going to better set you up for financial success like the skilled trades will. Career paths in the skilled trades open opportunities to faster career growth. You have the ability to double your salary relatively quickly as opposed to other career paths. And there are so many different roles within the construction industry. Let's say you step in and you're sweaty and you're dirty and you hate it and you hate being in the field. Well, guess what? You could go into safety. You could go into the office. You could go into project management. There's other avenues in construction that doesn't necessarily mean being hands-on, like actually working on the tools. So if you don't like working on the tools, you don't have to do that. And I don't think that people get the big picture of what construction really has to offer. I am very passionate about giving as much information as I can about the skilled trades because I have heard so many stories and tales and interesting life perspectives on career paths and financial loss and financial gain in the construction industry. The numbers just don't lie. So many people in the construction industry have been able to create a very financially stable at the low end to financially abundant at the high end lifestyle for themselves. I know that everybody likes to paint this pretty picture of do what you're passionate about, do what you love. This data scientist that I went out on a date with for this coffee date, he was like, I love being a data scientist. Like, that's what I love. But he didn't figure out that that's what he loved until he went to college and was actually like doing things related to that. If you're not actively partaking in the activity, it's really hard to discover what you really love and what you're really passionate about. It's really nice to be passionate about what you do and love what you do, and that's fabulous. If you don't have financial security to do what you love, a lot of things are going to be especially challenging because at the end of the day, what money really brings is freedom. Freedom to do with what your time, whatever you damn well please. It brings you security. You can protect yourself. There's a lot that money can provide you. I think that especially with, high school students, A lot of us get lost in this idealistic fantasy of doing something that you love when you really have no clue about what you really love to do. You're still figuring out who you are as a person. I know I've been particularly harsh on universities and colleges. But the fact of the matter is that I really feel that they have been allowed to take advantage of the American students. And universities, yes, they started off as a really great thing. It's an incredible, amazing entity. But then they seem to have morphed and just devolved into nothing of what they were originally intended. I care about providing people with all the opportunities, all the information that they can make informed decisions for themselves. You do our country an injustice, a disservice, when you don't provide the information for people to make informed decisions. And you cloak things or manipulate the masses to move in certain directions that without giving like the full scope of the picture. I don't want to see that happening anymore. I want to see people being able to build the lives that they want to live. And again, no one is going to be able to do this for you or know what will be right for you except you. So if you are pro school and just completely hate everything that I have shared, please, I challenge you, give me the pointers on how universities are still beneficial. Give me the facts, give me the data. Let me see it in the comments below. And if you are totally on board with the data that I've presented, give a thumbs up in the comments below. Definitely ring that bell. And I will see you guys next time.
The Sparky Life. Don't forget to subscribe.
Create the sparks in your life.